We're here today with Matt Macfarlane, CEO of iCetana. Matt, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me along.
iCetana, what is it and what problem does it solve?
So iCetana is a video analytics company. We make software, we don't make hardware or cameras, but what our software does is it takes the feeds from existing video surveillance networks. It understands movement patterns in front of those cameras that are sending the feeds through. It takes 2 weeks to do that learning, and having gone through a learning phase, it starts to report anomalous or unusual activity in real time. So it's a bit like motion detection on steroids, okay? And we've got lots of clients around the world, and the software solves the problem of most surveillance networks right now are just like giant recording systems, right? They're like VCRs, and nobody looks at them in real time. What we do is we turn surveillance networks into real-time environments. So the control rooms start to see anomalous, unusual, and interesting events in real time so that they can react to them straight away from the control room.
And who are the customers?
So customers include campus security, for example. So we've got about 6 universities around the world, from Canada, USA, Australia, using our software to improve security and surveillance across a campus-wide environment, which is health and safety space, as well as for security purposes. Casinos, so Crown Casino in Melbourne's a great example there. And we've started to penetrate into some new markets in the last 12 months that are very exciting for us. So the cruise ship industry has enormous surveillance on those ships, and also the prisons industry. So we've partnered up with Chubb in the last few months and had some excellent results at some prison surveillance activities.
And why is picking anomalous behaviours and activities important?
It's important because right now people have spent an enormous amount of money on surveillance network capabilities. It's extremely expensive to put in cameras and have the systems that support those cameras, and yet they're not being utilised the way that they should. If you go into a typical control room where there's 100 or 200 cameras coming into that control room, it's like looking at wallpaper, all these feeds with nothing necessarily happening in front of them. What iCetana does is it goes from normal motion detection, which reports about 60% of surveil time. iCetana reports less than 1%. So that's like going from 14 hours a day from a camera to just 14 minutes a day on a camera. When you do that, you start to see stuff that you had no idea was happening in front of your cameras. So our typical way of engaging with customers is we'll do a trial. We'll say to them, look, we'll go for 5 weeks, 2 weeks of learning, 3 weeks of reporting, and then we'll have a look at what sorts of things are happening in front of your very own cameras. And we've never failed in a trial. Every trial we've done, the customers have been surprised and delighted, and that's our new approach of going to the market.
Recent successes?
So recent successes, Mount Royal University in Canada. We've got a lot of really interesting opportunities in Canada. Also, we've signed a lot of partners in the last 12 months. So our go-to-market strategy has dramatically changed. As the company started up 9 years ago, right? The first 8 years we were building the product, making sure it worked, but also getting those reference customers, because until you've sold to customers directly, the partners won't join with you and believe in you. But what's happened in the last 12 months is we've brought on board a whole bunch of really strong partners, people like Chubb, Prosegur, and Convergent, and other companies like this, and they're helping us expand into new markets. So our pipeline has grown dramatically.
Scalable business?
Very scalable. I mean, we have a solution that, compared to facial recognition, which most people think, oh, if they're doing video surveillance, they must be doing facial. We don't see faces, we just see pixels moving around. We're all about motion, so you must have things actually moving. If you were to put in place a facial recognition software solution, your hardware alone would cost you $50,000, and you might get 40 cameras on that. With iCetana, for about $15,000, we'll do 300 cameras. So it's a dramatically different price point, and very scalable. Our largest site worldwide is a shopping centre in the Middle East called the Mall of the Emirates in Dubai, 2,400 cameras. So you get an idea of just how fast we can scale. And we of course charge on a per camera basis. So there's literally hundreds and hundreds of millions of cameras out there which are just waiting to become real time.
Looking forward, what should investors or potential investors focus on from the company?
So I think our growth into new markets, so we've just recently appointed a guy in the UK, and he's growing our European opportunity deal pipeline. Our ability to engage fully with the partners who are sending us leads already, but they need more support to make that happen. So our plans are to raise a little bit of capital to increase our ability to work together with those partners, increase our spread, and get people to hear about us, because the technology works. It works fantastically well. We just need to get it out there more into the world beyond our current revenue run rate.
And would you explore a public listing?
Yeah, at the moment we've appointed a broker and we're going through a socialisation phase to kind of see expressions of interest for a potential IPO. Nothing committed as yet, but we're well down the process with both ASIC and the ASX, so we're hopeful that we'll get that away in the not too distant future.
Matt, a real business with real customers scaling up at the right time. Exciting times ahead for iCetana. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much. See you later.